Well, obviously we're coming up on Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday, huge shopping day. We just wanted to be proactive, get the word out there to the public, just to be mindful of some things as they're going out shopping this holiday season, and so that they're safe and everybody has a good time. A lot of people are excited and have a great time with these shopping deals and to get out there, and some of them are braver than I to go out and fight these crowds, and if they're going to do that, we want them to be safe in doing so and take certain precautions that they need to do in order to be safe out there and make sure they get home with their gifts and their packages and everything goes according to plan. And that's probably the first thing, is have a plan. Should be mapping out their strategy, so to speak. I'm sure everybody gets the ads, they're looking at things online, where the big sales are, certain items that they want to make sure they go get. Make sure that they're going out there and have a map of and a designation of how they're going to go throughout their day and plan accordingly. And that's probably the biggest thing. That's first and foremost, is have a good game plan.
I think it's always kind of important, right, to think about some of the basic tips for people, because time passes. It's been 11 months since people have really been in the thick of it. So if you just start looking at what are some of the basic tips that people should remind themselves to do.
Biggest one for us recently is just be aware of your surroundings. Coming and going from your car. We obviously don't want you talking on your phone or texting while driving, but that's just as important when you're a pedestrian, especially this time of year with increased traffic in the parking lots, increased number of people that might have their mind elsewhere, that even as a pedestrian coming and going from your car to the store, put the phone down, put it in the pocket, don't be texting, checking the sales on the phone as you're coming and going, because we want you to be aware of your surroundings, the people that might be out in the parking lot looking for criminal opportunity, just to be aware of what's going on around you. So, give the cell phone a rest while you're at least coming and going from the car.
Is it different, if I'm out shopping with my girlfriends or with my grandkids? Is it different than if I'm out shopping by myself? Are there certain things that I should be aware of?
It's always good to shop in numbers. I mean, there's always this motto of there's strength in numbers. So the more people you have with it, the more eyes you have for people to pay attention. There's more opportunity for you to be able to be a lot more secure, so to speak, because you have strength in numbers and you're less of a target. The criminals are looking for those people by themselves, or just looking for that easier opportunity, and when there's multiple people involved, it usually kind of scares them in a different direction or leans them in a different direction. So keep your purses, ladies, keep your purses close to your body. Don't be carrying large bags. Try to keep your hands free as much as possible. That's the one thing when you go in and you do your shopping. Don't be carrying more than what you should be as you're walking to and from your car. It creates, number one, a tripping hazard. It can create, your hands are full, you can't defend yourself. Easy for somebody to grab onto something and take it with them. So if you have to take multiple trips, make multiple trips to go to and from your car. But make sure that you are securing those items in your vehicle. That's the biggest thing. It's the old lock it up. It's no different. Here we are again. We're talking about making sure we lock things up, and that includes not leaving your vehicle running and the car and the keys in it. Secure those packages in the trunk rather than the passenger compartment if at all possible. If you can't and you have a large item that you stick in the back seat, don't go to the next store to do more shopping, because someone may follow you to that store because they watched you walk out with that big package, and now they're waiting for you to go back into another store left unattended. You have this big package in the back seat. So if you have to make a trip to somebody's house to drop it off, then that's what you do before you go back out shopping. But don't leave something unsecured inside the passenger part of the car.
So what's your suggestion or recommendation? You mentioned we live in an age of technology, and certainly it's changed in terms of how we pay for things, right? It used to be everybody you carried a credit card, and then it was cash, and now it's your debit card. So what's your suggestion that people should do?
Try to avoid carrying large amounts of cash. Everybody has their own opinions on whether I'm paying cash or whether I'm paying by a credit card. Recommending really using a credit card, using one credit card so you can track those purchases. Do not use your debit card. Debit card, if you are a victim of fraud, is actually coming, your real money will be leaving that account. whereas banks will reimburse you for any fraudulent charges on your credit card. So it's always good to maintain that. Almost all banks, whether they're a local bank or a national chain, will give you the option of being able to receive notifications when something hits your card. So if you can, sign up for that. If you have a smartphone, use their app. That way you're alerted to any time a transaction will hit your card. And so you can check it against your receipts to make sure, yeah, that's a transaction that I approved. If you're not doing that, then just make sure that you save your receipts and go over your billing statement when you do receive it to make sure those charges are the ones that you actually placed and for the items that you purchased.
So I'm one of those people that used to enjoy the Black Friday, right, as it was, very early, running around, doing all of that sort of thing. And that's changed a little bit. Instead of, there's the Cyber Monday and shopping online and getting all of those packages. Words of wisdom in terms of doing that and how those are received at home?
Only visit those sites that you're familiar with. Definitely do your shopping on your familiar sites that you know are secure and you know that are strong businesses to do that type of stuff with. So make sure you're careful what sites you're visiting, and then the other thing too is when you're buying these packages online, then that means they're going to be delivered either to your house or someplace. If you can have it delivered to the store, like if you're shopping online to one of the major storefronts, a lot of times there's an option where you can have it delivered directly to your store, and then you can go pick it up at a later time. That's probably the best situation, rather than having being dropped off on your front step and left for hours unattended while you're at work. If you cannot do that, there's also the option of sometimes a lot of these parcel services such as UPS or FedEx or even the post office, you can have it delivered directly to their store or their storefront, and you can pick it up there. If not, make sure you're tracking that parcel online, know when it's going to arrive at your house, maybe line something up with a friend or a family member while you're at work that can go pick that up and secure that in the house so it's not sitting on your front step for long periods of time unattended. That's just no different than leaving a package inside your car unattended. There are, unfortunately, those people out there that go around looking for that sort of thing. So make sure you're planning ahead as you're doing that type of shopping as well. So that's probably the biggest thing.
So we're pretty good for after the holidays, in terms of burglaries and how do we prevent it? How do we still?
Oh, that's a whole nother topic.
I assume that, but
bring out the popcorn out.
Yeah, those quick little helpful hints.
Well, as far as burglary goes, I mean, it's you're talking about security of your home, not leaving things open so that people can see into your window and see where everything is. After the holidays, everybody unwraps their gifts. Be cautious of just setting those large boxes out to your curb for pickup, where you're advertising, it's like putting a big billboard out there, everything you just received on Christmas morning. So make sure that you're not just leaving those things in the open so people can see what you just opened up, which are brand new items that are inside your home. So be cautious of that. Again, as far as security of your home, make sure your doors are locked, windows are locked, secure your home. That's probably the biggest thing. Don't leave things unattended and unlocked, whether it be your car, your home, or whichever. Just make sure when you're leaving home you're doing that. Leave lights on. Always make the house look like somebody's home, the appearance. So that's pretty much it.
People have questions. Can they contact you?
Absolutely. If people have questions, they want a security survey, we do offer a free security survey for the home. They can contact the Crime Prevention Unit and reach out, and we'll get back in touch. If we don't answer directly, then we'll get back in touch and answer whatever questions they might have. Anything else you got on the holiday safety that we missed?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, there is one thing. Parking lots are going to be very, very busy during this holiday season. Pedestrians, vehicles. Probably first and foremost, pack your patience with you when you go. Be patient. A lot of people are in a rush. They want to go get that item. Be patient with one another and just have a good time. Don't ruin anybody else's day or ruin your day because you're impatient. And just take your time and be secure and follow those safety tips that we talked about already. But as you're driving through parking lots, keep your head moving in all directions. I mean, there might be children out running around. There might be that you don't see. Might be carts that are flying through the parking lot. But as you're backing and as you're driving through those parking lots, you got to be really aware of there's a lot of moving parts out there on these days. So be extra careful when you're out driving in those lots as well.
Great. Thank you.
I would ask, what are some of the most common mistakes people usually do during the holidays or especially like on Black Friday when they're doing their holiday shopping? It's something that you keep reminding people, hey, just like like your whole lock your car kind of thing and kind of common sense. Like, what are some of those things that people happen to do during their holiday shopping?
You probably just named it. Lock your car. Simple as that. That's probably the number one.
And securing the packages out of sight. It's such a habit that we keep our packages in the passenger compartment because that's where we're at. And it's not a very common thing the other times of the year when I'm done shopping to place my packages in the trunk of the vehicle. But we don't usually have the volume that you're going to have during the holiday season. So it's one of those things that we talk about it over and over again about putting packages in the trunk and locking them out of sight. And yet we still handle call after call where items can be stolen out of a vehicle because people just don't take the time. It's not worth that extra 10 or 15 seconds. And that goes with leaving the car unattended at gas stations, convenience stores, in front of their own houses. I'm just going to be inside for a few seconds. It's not worth that saving 10, 15 seconds to come out and have your car gone, come out and have your packages gone. So a lot of it is just the same thing we should be practicing all year long. It's going to be at a much higher level, much higher volume this time of year with the shopping season.
Nothing's worse than, I can tell you, like I've worked a store over the last several years during this time period, and I can remember taking a report, and a woman came in and her packages were stolen out of her vehicle in the lot, and she's just in tears. That's her Christmas, it's her family's Christmas, and a lot of people, they've set aside money for this, so for these holidays, and they just that's the last thing you want to see happen to anybody. So just taking those extra steps to make sure that you're doing the things you have to protect the items that you've purchased for your loved ones, and nobody wants to see that happen to anybody. So that's the whole reason why we're doing this today, is just to get the word out, tell people, be cautious and be aware of what's around you and what's going on. So
Absolutely. And do you guys maybe have like an average how many calls you guys receive? Now, because they got packages stolen from their vehicle or something along those lines.
I do not have any statistics as far as that goes, but it is a common thing, whether it be shoplifting. The thing about it is you got to be very cautious too as you're out there shopping that during this time period you have those, instead of going in the store and shoplifting, because a lot of these stores have hired extra security during this time and they know there's maybe a greater risk. Basically, they're doing the shoplifting in the parking lot. So they will follow you from one store. They see you walk out with packages, and then they'll follow you to your next store where you're going to go in. So be cautious of that. Be aware of if somebody's following you from one store to the next. And you just got to be aware of those things. Again, it's about being aware of your surroundings and knowing what's going on. And if you have a very valuable item that you just picked up from one place, probably your car isn't the most secure place to keep it. If you need to run someplace and drop it off, then I would suggest you can do that. Maybe it's not to your home, but if you're with a group of friends, whoever's closest, this is where we're going to take our items to secure them before we go to the next location.